Junior hockey getting cancelled in 2020, BCHL moving unsanctioned in 2023, and then the AJHL, half of the teams almost joining the BCHL to go unsanctioned. So a lot of changes have happened in the hockey world in the past couple of years, and we anticipate a lot of changes are to happen moving forward. So if you want to know these changes, what we think is going to happen, keep watching. What's going on, guys? For those of you who are new here, my name is Braden and I'm the CEO and founder of Advancement Hockey Advising. Today, what we'll be talking about is basically the general predictions and direction that we think the hockey landscape altogether is going to take in the next 5 years. So as you guys are probably aware of, a ton of changes have happened, in the past 5 years, really since the pandemic occurred. It really served as a catalyst for so many things to change, like going unsanctioned and all the things that we mentioned, in the intro here. So I think this is definitely a good opportunity for us to discuss what we think is going to happen. Now, this doesn't mean that things are going to happen, but based on our inside scoops, based on what coaches are telling us and everything, we have, some general predictions that we want to make. So, just to spark curiosity, the conversation a little bit, but to give you guys better predictions as to what you might be able to expect moving forward in the junior hockey world here. So we're going to move ahead with our predictions right now. But as always, it's an AHA video, so I have to ask you guys to absolutely destroy that like button. If you do, there's going to be a picture of a baby panda at the end of the video, so stick around to watch that. Also hit that subscribe button and notification bell so you never miss another video moving forward. All right, let's dive right into the video here. So our first big prediction here is that we expect in the next 5 years that more and more leagues are going to go unsanctioned at the junior level. We've seen it happen in Hockey Canada, right? Since the pandemic, the BCHL has gone unsanctioned. AJHL, about half the teams joined the BCHL in the unsanctioned route. Also, there was the 𝗏𝗏 that a lot of people forget about because it didn't really work. But basically, it almost was the CCHL trying to go unsanctioned. Now, it didn't happen, and the CCHL is still sanctioned, but the 𝗏𝗏 was almost that attempt, basically. So a lot of teams, a lot of leagues have been thinking about the unsanctioned route, and based on what we're talking about with coaches, more and more teams and leagues are considering it. So I think in the next 5 years, we're going to see a lot more of it, especially in Canada. Now, we've mainly touched on Canadian junior teams right now. We're going to get to the USA teams in a little bit, but for now, for Canadian, why we've seen such a shift where the BC's gone unsanctioned, some of the AJ teams, the 𝗏𝗏 happened, and all that stuff is because Hockey Canada has had a bit of a stranglehold on these teams and leagues, and these teams haven't really liked how they've been treated, and they haven't liked the rules, the regulations that have been set in place that really limits them. So they think by going unsanctioned, it's going to give them more freedom. So that's the big reason why they've been doing it, and I anticipate that more and more teams might follow this model moving forward. My second big prediction here is that it's likely that the high school prep model will continue to overtake the AAA model. I think there's a couple reasons for this. Great access to resources, facilities, are typically better with the prep model. The school is on campus. There's a lot of good pros to the prep model that a lot of players and parents are wanting to see and that they like to see. There are a few cons to it though. The costs are typically much higher, and AAA teams, some are very established and some are still worth going to. So I don't think it's going to completely overtake it. I think the really good AAA programs are going to, keep trucking along and keep, moving on guys to really good junior teams and NCAA programs and so on. But for the, lower end AAA programs and stuff, I think they're really going to be overtaken by the prep schools in the next 5 to 10 years. So that's definitely something to keep in mind. An example is the JPHL model that we just had an interview with that you can check up here by clicking the link. So that's a good example as to moving to the prep model and the more focused Encompass model that's unsanctioned as well. So that ties into the unsanctioned piece too. Another video too that we do a detailed breakdown of is the prep versus AAA video that you can check up here. But yeah, I think it's definitely going to have a shift more leaning towards prep in the next 5 to 10 years. Real quick, guys, if you have any questions for us and you just want some advice, the best way to get in touch for free is by clicking the link in the description below. All right, let's get back to the video here. The third big shift to keep in mind, it's still speculative at this point, but it might occur in the next 5 years or so, is the major junior eligibility with NCAA rule that might pass. So a couple months ago, we did a whole video breakdown on this that you can check up here. But a couple months ago, basically we heard from Elliotte Friedman himself that they might enforce a rule where major junior players can now play NCAA hockey. Now, if this were to pass, it doesn't mean it's going to pass. It doesn't mean it ever will. We don't know if it will. It's all speculative at this point. But if it does pass, this will change absolutely everything in the hockey industry. This means that major juniors are going to be the first pick for NCAA programs, right? A lot of the major junior players. And then from there is going to have a trickle down effect. So basically it's going to be that much harder to make an NCAA team. So even the D3 teams are going to be very saturated at this point if this rule passes. So I think, it's hard to say if that's a good thing or a bad thing for hockey. It's definitely going to make it a lot harder for a lot of players, but it's something to really keep in mind. I think if I had to bet money on it, I think it might pass actually in the next 5 years years or so. So something to keep in mind. I don't want to scare you guys, but it definitely would be a big shift if this does pass. And the fourth big shift that we have here, the last one, is that costs are going to continue to increase, unfortunately. So gone are the days basically of natural talent just taking over and making it to the NHL at the age of 18, right? There are very talented players and you have to be talented to make the NHL or to make a high level now, but you don't see that with just pure natural talent, not training, not focusing on nutrition, you know, not doing all the little intangibles, you know, and all these things to make it to the top level. You really have to, you know, go to summer skates, you need to work on power skating when you're young, you really need to focus on your development and put a ton of money and resources into it. If you don't do that, you're gonna be left behind today, unfortunately. And you just think about the entire path, right? When it comes to like minor hockey, AAA, and prep hockey, they all cost quite a bit, right? If you're not the elite of the elite, this is where it really gets expensive. Where if you go to junior hockey afterwards, costs quite a bit of money if you're in a pay to play league. Afterwards, if you go and play college hockey, NCAA hockey, or youth sports, if you don't get that great of a scholarship, also quite expensive. And then you get to the pro level. But the whole route there, the whole journey there is very expensive. I didn't even mention all the other things that you have to do, right? Like, so feed yourself, you know, pay billeting fees, have your summer training programs, you know, all these things, it all really adds up. And the cost, unfortunately, is going to continue to go up. It's just the reality of it if we keep going in this direction. That's it, my friends. If you like this type of content, click here or here to keep watching. If you smash that like button and watch all the way to the end, here's a picture of a baby panda as promised. Aww. Super cute, right? Hit that subscribe button, hit that notification bell so you never miss another video moving forward. If you have any questions for us, anything whatsoever, definitely send us an email or put a comment down below. Thanks so much for watching, guys. We'll catch you on that next one.